What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, it was huge news yesterday when Deadline reported that Marvel Studios was officially pressing pause on 3 series set to go to Disney+, including the highly anticipated upcoming Nova series, which we have some future videos coming on because now we know some details about the show since it's apparently been temporarily canceled. In the meantime, though, we found out a huge update about why Strange Academy, a series that was set to follow what goes on in Kamar-Taj, say between America Chavez and Wong as he trains new recruits in the Mystic Arts, why it was canceled and what it's turned into. And according to one industry insider that has a proven track record, it directly ties to the X-Men. We're breaking down this latest scoop, where it came from and what he exactly says, what the likely timeline for this is, and what it means for the X-Men coming to Disney+. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. If you're into that kind of thing, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That automatically enters you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this was the latest update, as I mentioned during the prologue, coming in reaction to yesterday's news as to why they canceled at least one show in Strange Academy. And it sounds like because there's another show that's going to be exactly like it, just set in a different corner of the MCU. This was according to industry insider Jeff Sneider. Some of you may be familiar with his editorial, cleverly named The InSneider, but over on the Hot Mike podcast is where he's been dropping Marvel scoops for the last year or so, including the one where 2 months early he nailed Dr. Doom being played by Robert Downey Jr. So take that as you will, but at least some of his sources are now proven with their track record and real recently. He said that he was hearing that Strange Academy was basically canceled and put on hold because there'll be a very similar series to it in an X Academy, basically the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, and where Charles Xavier will be training other young X-Men. The same exact premise where there's a school, gifted youngsters, they're being trained, but instead of the mystic arts, of course, it'll be to use their mutant abilities. And I think the truth here is that more than just the inherent similarities in the premise of the shows, it's a timeline thing. We're going to catch up with America Chavez and during the multiverse saga because surely her ability to travel the multiverse, especially if she's honed it at all while she's been in Kamar-Taj, is going to be super useful for the Avengers in trying to counter Dr. Doom. And so you would assume that a show that would have focused on Wong teaching her and other quote-unquote young future Avengers or young future sorcerers would have needed to have taken place in the next couple of years, because otherwise that show loses all its agency, again, unless they want to make it a prequel. And as I've said many times at the channel, Marvel Studios seems against doing that, again, only because it's part of the problem with how they released Black Widow, and it was just past the point of when her story mattered. It would have done a lot better numbers. It would have been way better suited to be the film that came out instead of Captain Marvel, topic for a totally different video. But it's pretty logical to see that whatever time the Strange Academy show spent in pre-development, as we've been hearing about it for 2 years, it was just too late. Again, we're going to see America Chavez, Wong, some of these other characters, and how everything plays out in the multiverse saga, and then anything after that that would be set as a prequel and looking backwards would basically lose all of its juice, and the audience just doesn't respond in the same way as things that are pertinent to our universe now. So I think really what happened was it just stayed in development too long, and they said, wait a minute, we can do this type of show, but we have a mutant saga coming up where the X-Men characters are going to be at the forefront. Let's just do a Charles Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. Now, this also has a lot to do with the timeline because we already know that the X-Men reboot film is being written right now by Michael Leslie. We've heard from industry insiders like Daniel RPK that a director announcement should be right around the corner, and that even they're going to start filming in 2026 for what we assume is a 2027 release date for one of the unannounced dates that Marvel Studios has on their calendar. And I think that's a surefire bet, only because we'll be coming off of the multiverse saga. Marvel Studios isn't going to want to skip a beat. They're going to want to put that X-Men movie out ASAP to let people know that things are done and to build the hype. So if that's the X-Men film, we're just now hearing about the development of a Charles Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters series on Disney+, you can be sure that that's going to be after the X-Men, a spin-off of the movie rather than leading up to the X-Men. I'm already seeing people take the scoop and spin it. Oh, this is going to be a Disney Plus series that leads us to the X-Men film, but just reading the tea leaves and already knowing the timelines for the X-Men film reboot, that's definitely going to come out first and before the show does. Now, The big reason that all this is happening, and I wonder what this has to do with either the New Warriors or the Young Avengers project we've been hearing about, is that Miss Marvel, remember, in the comics, they completely rewrote her with Iman Vellani's direct input to be a member of the X-Men and a mutant, and this is one of the places that I imagine her character might actually end up. And again, I wonder if this sort of comes in place of a Young Avengers or New Warriors, and I don't think that it will. And I also think obviously Iman Vellani's character at some point is going to age up. She's not going to be a high schooler anymore, and maybe this show will be set for younger Avengers, but I think it has a lot to do, again, with her character joining the X-Men and where she can fit in to the new landscape of the MCU, maybe possibly back on Disney+, and instead of a Miss Marvel Season 2, we see her involved in this series. This is all to keep in mind what they said yesterday in that Deadline article, because this is the new reality for Marvel Studios and TV shows as it comes to Disney+. This scoop may be 100% correct, and we may never see this show, because the way they're doing television shows now is the traditional way, where you put it in pre-development, you get a showrunner. If it's good enough in scripting, you shoot a pilot, and then you either make the show or don't make the show based on the pilot. So a lot of successful things can happen at pre-development, and the show can still be completely scrapped. So we may hear about this for the next year or two, like we did for the Nova show, like we did for Strange Academy, and then eventually hear that it's been canceled as well. And honestly, guys, it's for the best. It's way better for Marvel Studios to take their time and do a TV show the better way than the way they were doing it, and then when a show turns out not to be good, be saddled with releasing it or basically chopping it up and dumping it all on Disney Plus at once, like they did for Echo and like they did for Secret Invasion, which again should have never seen the light of day. This is a better way forward, and it just means when we scoop shows early, there's a chance that some of these shows might not get made, and I assume it might even be for some of the new announcements we're hearing behind the scenes for Marvel movies, again, that may be correct about projects they're looking to develop, but that never actually get made. And you can look at just the last 2 years of official on-stage announcements at D23 and San Diego Comic-Con for Marvel Studios and see the fact that they're only talking about what's directly in front of them to know they're never going to pull another 2019 where they announce 3 or 4 years worth or 12 projects all at once. Things like Armor Wars and Blade just fell by the wayside because they got way far ahead of themselves and weren't able to make good on some of those announcements. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. Anybody bummed they're not going to make a Strange Academy? And who do you think should be the members of this young class of X-Men that again will eventually feature in the crossover down the road, but that won't be a part of the main team and right off the bat in the film? I'm all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel. In fact, we've given away 2 in the last week. If you missed those announcements, check back at the channel. PS5 winner is in the title. If you want to be entered to win the future giveaways, the next one is for the finale of Daredevil Born Again. All you got to do, be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. The best way to keep up with the content at the channel has always been to hit the notification button with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places. Instagram and Twitter at AdamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes under the name Allfires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.